Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. Yep, I've been having conversations with the other side while trying to keep up appearances. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. We'll swap true tales of the seen and unseen, and maybe even laugh about the weird stuff we've experienced. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, come join me as we explore the paranormal. Let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together. Welcome to Jaunty Haunts. Welcome back, dear seekers of the strange, to Jaunty Haunts. Tonight, we're kicking things off with a topic that has whispered through parlors, seances, and sleepovers for over a century. A simple board, a wooden planchette, a question asked in the dark. Is anyone there? Tonight, we summon the story of the Ouija board, one of the most infamous and misunderstood tools of spiritual communication. Born in the 19th century during America's obsession with spiritualism, the board was marketed as nothing more than a parlor game, a harmless amusement. But from its earliest days, it carried an eerie reputation. Tales of cryptic messages, ghostly warnings, and even possessions have surrounded it for decades. Was it a portal to the beyond, or just an elaborate trick of the subconscious mind? The Ouija board has found its way into pop culture, from chilling horror films to real-life stories of people claiming to have spoken with something other. But whether you believe in its power, or chalk it up to the ideomotor effect, a subconscious movement with our own hands, one thing is certain. Once you place your fingers on that planchette, something always seems to answer. Tonight, we'll explore the Ouija board's eerie origins, its rise in spiritualist circles, its role in horror lore, and whether there's any truth behind the fear. I also want to introduce our guests for this episode. Please welcome back to the pod my spooky-obsessed, wonderful friends, Hannah and Gentaro. Both are previous Ouija board users, or as Hannah calls it, OJ board users. We've also got another listener story from Pixie. Pixie, thank you for sharing. It's about her true Ouija board haunting that became so intense, a pastor or a priest or something had to get involved. I don't know, so stay tuned for that. It's crazy. I will also be telling a story later in the episode about my own personal run-in with the Ouija board. We'll say that. Almost run-in with the Ouija board, so just stay tuned for that. Now, let's dim the lights and grab a friend, because you should never use the board alone. And prepare to ask the question that has haunted generations. Who or what is really moving the planchette? Welcome to Jaunty Haunts. Let's begin. The CASPER rating of this episode is 5. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited to chat with you again. Obviously, we've hung out and had some spooky times in between last time you were on the show, but can you tell us one fun and spooky thing that's happened since last time you were on the show, which was Christmas of last year? A fun movie you've seen, a fun thing that spooked you. Tell us something spooky that's happened in the last, 9 months?
Okay, I've got one. So, my sister had a baby. My sister did have a baby.
Horrifying.
You know that? Yeah. You know that, like, you know what I'm referencing? It's like a meme where it's like, my sister had a baby, and then I had
the little shrimp or whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, you got the reference straight away. So my sister had a baby,
and it was the
twin.
Antichrist. No.
The Antichrist.
I thought we were really going there. Okay,
No, he's so cute. He's actually like an angel baby, which I'm kind of jealous about, because I bet you I'll have a demon child. But anyway, he's very well behaved. But when Bridget and I are twins. We don't know if we're identical or not, but we are twins. And when she was having the baby, or she never got, her waters never broke, but she was like waiting to get into the delivery room. and she was having like I think she was having contractions. I'm not sure. They were asking her about signs of I need to know the word. Preeclampsia. They were asking her if she had any signs of preeclampsia, which is often high blood pressure and a severe headache. And she's like, no, I'm fine. She just didn't have any signs of that particular medical condition before you give birth. But that night, I had the worst headache / migraine I've ever had. I was like, to the point where I got out of bed, I'd taken, the ibuprofen, the Advil, the paracetamol and all that. I had to get out of bed, and I remember pacing back and forth in my bedroom, being like, and I was like, this is really weird. And then the next morning, Bridget told me that she had had her baby. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then she said to me the story of like the preeclampsia questionnaires, and one of those symptoms is severe headaches. And I was like, are you kidding me? I had the worst headache last night, like one of the worst I had. I normally get headaches and migraines, but this was notoriously bad. And I think like
that's so cool.
Yeah, and what kind of was really spooky was my husband Chris. He's a doctor, and he even said, "Oh, maybe that's like you're
connected
connected to that." Or so I just thought it was really cool and really
wow, so fun and woo woo. Thank you for sharing the twin connection. Oh my goodness, ooh.
That is a good one. Oh my goodness.
Really
beat that, Gentaro.
Well, Gentaro is like horror movie extraordinaire. What's the word?
He just watches so many.
I was going to say conduit, but that's not the right word. Collector. The word starts with a C. Connoisseur. Yeah, that's it. Ooh. You're such a horror movie connoisseur. Was recently Hannah's birthday, and we were trying to figure out which movie to watch, and Gentaro had seen all of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lover of the horror genre. I just find it, grew up on it. I find it very like cozy, almost like exclusive. I'm trying to branch out like a little bit. Like I find myself like unable to watch like other, like I can do like some thrillers, but if there's like not like some sort of like it doesn't have to be paranormal necessarily, but just like, some sort of like dark,
like
like
your blood
edge,
pumping.
Like something like that. Like I'm just not into it. I don't know. I feel like it ebbs and flows with time. Like when I was younger, I could really handle like a prestigious like drama. Now I can't. Like I need it. I don't know why.
Our attention spans.
Yeah. So seeing lots of movies. Thought I was going to talk about movies, but actually had something else happen like recently. So speaking of Hannah's birthday, and so for Hannah's birthday, I gifted her some tarot cards because I'm a tarot guy. Love it. Into it for like, like a decade, like since college, but like stepped away from it for a while. I was like really inspired. So I actually got a new deck recently.
Yay.
So like, I've just been like really like seeing like a lot of the images like around recently, like on different people's shirts and different things like that. And like when we were, when Courtney was doing a reading the other day, I was just like really like feeling intuitive, right? Anyway, so I got a deck, so I'm like, okay, trying to get to know this deck. The image, it's just like a Rider-Waite like classic image. Like I feel really connected to those images. I was like, let me just like ask a question, like nothing like super light, but like nothing super heavy. And so, I just got something in my mind. So I'm asking this question, and I'm like, let me just do like a quick spread. I usually do like the Celtic cross like spread, right?
Yes.
And I got like a lot of wands. So I was like, you know what this reading means? But right. Beautiful. I'm like, ooh, interesting. Something's going on, like, in my day-to-day life. Like, what kind of action do I need to take? And I was like, the action right now is that I didn't shuffle well enough. That's what this is, right? I'm like, all these ones, I'm like, nah, can't be. I do it. It was like, let me simplify it. Let me do like past, present, future, simplify it. 3 more wands, right? Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you are terrible. Like, so I was like, I really shuffled. I was like, let me do it like Vegas style, like shuffle it really well. And then I did another reading, and I, got some cards that I accepted at that time. I was like, that was nice. And then as I'm putting them together, 2 fall out. wands.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes! And so like I'm reading them and I was like, let me just like look up a deeper like meaning to these particular wands that I got. And it was like spot on. Like like the message like, that I was looking for. So what I got from that is just listen to the messages that you're getting. Try to like accept what they are, but even if you don't, the message will come for you. So
Yes.
you know. So
That's
really
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, thank you for sharing. I don't know why I was gonna just jump into the intro, but my woo thing was like, ask them if anything has happened, because those were both such great little nuggets. Thank you for sharing, you guys. Oh wow, I love that. They were like wands. Speaking of this woo stuff, while we're on it, did you guys hear that tomorrow night, actually, when we're all meeting, it's the black moon? It happens once every 3 years.
No. What does it mean?
Tell more.
I'm going to send it to you on Instagram, because it had like a lot of details, but it was basically like, it's a very powerful moon used specifically for like banishing, hexing, like sending stuff away, like it's like big, like, you know, banishment, think darker, think it's literally like dark side of the moon, a dark new moon, like new beginnings, and like I just picture this energy of like flashing out. But there's a guy who like is a professional at this and he talks more eloquently, so I'm gonna send that to you guys tonight. But I thought that was interesting. I was like, ooh, we're meeting on the black moon. It happens once every 36 months. So,
what makes it black? Like, why do they have like, why is there a strawberry moon and like a blue moon and like, you know what I mean?
Well, I can't answer that. I mean, in regards to those, a lot of it relates to the old Farmer's Almanac, and also like what it represents seasonally. I think some is in like pagan holiday, some is in like lore, but a lot of it is farmers. I mean,
like Native Americans, I think.
Yeah,
like
that has to do with it too. I think it's like a lot of different cultural and religious practices that have like come together over the years to kind of be like embraced by like modern technology, even to be like, it's the buck moon, you know, but it's like, well, that happened in January when they were like out after mating or something, and then, you know, like stuff like that carried out through history, I think. But I'm sure there's a better answer than what I just gave. Well,
it satisfied me.
Okay.
Agriculture. There's so much about agriculture I know, like we're talking about that today, just like, yeah.
I just love talking anything woo-woo with you guys, so this is great. Okay. I'm going to get into Ouija board specifics, though. I have to be honest, I kind of feel like this, like I did with the demon episode, though, like the ghosts are already messing with us.
Yeah, I see that. They don't want us talking about it.
You know, something did happen in my apartment
Really?
a couple times. Yeah. Sorry, off topic, but not really. I had to take down all my like witchy spiritual protection because of the real estate stuff. So I had like porcupine sticks and like brooms and all kinds of stuff above all my doors, and like I had to take all of it down. So all I have is a salt line, which is like like a breath for this building, you know? And so since Jordan's been gone, there have been so many times where I'm watching TV and it's going pause, play, like on Netflix. And I have to go like, stop. And then it finally stops. But like, I'm not seeing anything. It's just like, literally like the show I'm watching will go like, pause, play, pause, play. It happened like 2 times already. And I'm like, God damn it. Stop it.
It's spooky.
Don't like that.
Wait, what do porcupine quills do?
It's like a big protection thing. Like when you think, when you see a porcupine, right? That when they start, it's like, whoa, like I want to get away from there. So think of that energy for your house, right? Like I'm putting a quill in my house. Don't fuck with me. Don't even try to cross my path, right?
Reminds me of like the village. Don't like the little shawls that they wear have like the little porcupine like thing?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
just that's just so funny you say that, Courtney, because I, for some reason, have a porcupine quill that I had when I was a little girl.
Wow.
A woman like gave it to me, and I was like, "What is it?" And she's like, "It's a porcupine quill." Like not right on the street. We were in like a zoo, and she kind of like, I don't think you're allowed to do this, but she bent down to like grab it, not off the porcupine. It was like a shed. It was like just in its little was right by the fence. She grabbed it and she's like, "Here, have it." And I'm like, "Thanks." And I've got one, and
That's great.
And it's just so random that you like that. There's a specific like charm to have.
They're
You're
very
definitely not supposed to take a piece of the animal. I feel like that's how like patient zero starts.
So yeah,
I got
yeah, I know. I was like, cool. Thanks. Like,
you're like sucking on it.
Oh my god! No, I think I remember like putting it under hot, like boiling hot water.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
cleaning it proper.
Yeah,
I got mine in Salem when I was up there at a witch shop. Yeah, you can use it for some really dark stuff too because of its also like venomous nature. Like you can use it in a lot of hexes or like negative spell work if you want to hurt someone or something. You can like stabbing it through something. Like you can do dark stuff with it, but that's not my forte.
No, yeah, spooky. I'd just backfire on me myself. And
I know.
I'm back 3 times as strong or something.
Right. Okay, let's begin. So, historical context. The spiritualist movement, right? 1840s, early 1900s, sparked by the Fox sisters, but by many other, especially in the United Kingdom. Seances, spiritual communication. It just became hugely popular, leading to the creation of the Ouija board. Do you guys kind of know about this era?
No, I only know. I can tell. I was like, yeah, I do. I only know the era I think that most other people would know, which is like, it was sold as a board game,
right?
Like back in the day. Yeah, but I want to know all about the history. It's really cool. It goes way back then.
Yeah, I definitely know some things about this era. I'm not like an expert, but like 19th century was like my favorite. I used to be a history teacher too. Yeah. And so like
Oh my gosh.
yeah, middle school history for like a while, like yeah, anyway. And so like 19th century, but like even studying history in college and everything like that like was like my favorite. And so like one reason, and then the other reason is because I'm from Rochester, New York originally, and that was like
Yes.
a hub of like the spiritualism movement and the religion, the Fox sisters and the
I
whole
was gonna say they
spiritualist
were like
church.
from that area, weren't they?
Yeah, they were from like a rural area around there, but like Rochester was like one of the big cities back then, and so like their first big I don't know, performances, so to speak, I guess, or like
Right.
public seances that they would do or whatnot, like was in like Hall in Rochester. I know, and that was like one of the first things to say like they had made it. They were like legitimately on the map because there's like spiritualism was a religion, like kind of started by them, but it was also like not entertainment, but it was like a whole circuit, you know what I mean, where they would like go around and like show like their gifts or like do like these public seances. And so I mean there was no TV, right? So I mean like there was newspapers and then there were live shows and speeches and performances, and so they did that. And so there's like a whole history of that. Even some of that is still alive. Like there is a spiritualist church, so to speak, I guess. Yeah, church in
Oh,
Rochester, like still
cool.
today, like and they're some, I mean, I haven't lived there in forever, but they were have some sort of a presence. um but like that whole 19th century time period, like I don't know I think they call it like a great revival or awakening. There's like so
Mm-hmm.
many names that his historians have given it, but like there was just like a whole interest in like the country of like religion and spirituality, and like a lot of it
Yeah.
had to do with like the so-called occult and like magic and like ancient Egypt and like all this sort of secret ideas that came about, and spiritualism was one of the big ones for so many reasons. Did you watch The Gilded Age, right?
Yes.
Because in this
Uh-huh.
latest season, they sort of this is
Yes.
like the late 19th century, and they sort of touched on the sort of
She went to go
popular
see the
seance movement.
psychic.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Yes.
like that is like such a hallmark of the late 19th century.
It's so funny too, coming out of like the Victorian age too, right? That was so buckled up and prudish, and there were so many like faux pas that all of the sudden this was something that was socially acceptable to be like,
Mm.
yes, let's call upon the dead, but don't show your ankles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well,
it's so
interestingly,
funny.
like there were so, like you say, there were so many like social faux pas, and like Victorian era, we think of it as so buttoned up. But one thing that was like more mainstream, arguably, was death, right? Because like it was so
Right?
common, like
That's
child,
Yeah.
true.
like infant mortality was like the norm. Like the sort of
Hmm.
like with the memento mori. Have you guys seen those photographs? They're like
Which
amazing.
No.
ones? Like the ectoplasm?
The memento mori photographs people have like would like
No.
photograph their family
Of
members
the
like
dead?
yeah, the dead, like
Yes.
the recently dead. I guess you know, there's so
Gonna put it
many like
in.
maybe
Yeah.
like specific like practical reasons why you'd photograph like a recently dead person, but it also became like
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
in style sort of, and like
Mhm.
death
Mhm.
was like a little bit like sort of more mainstream, and like of course like novels and like gothic literature and like things like that. But like yeah, death was like something that was like so commonly like
Yeah.
experienced, I guess.
And like on a side note, this is like so wild that they did this, but like yeah, there was like, everyone would congregate to like watch a beheading or
Hmm.
watch a
Yes.
hanging or
Yeah.
watch someone get burned because it's like
Hmm.
you said, Kintaro, there ain't no Netflix, there's no TV. Like
Right.
this is a form of entertainment, which is like for us
Yeah.
so fucked. But like back then, I guess it was a norm, and maybe yeah, that's probably a little bit to do with what you were saying, Courtney. Like it's just common chit
It
chat.
was common chit chat. Yeah. Well, and I
Yeah.
think, I mean, you guys made such good points, but just going off the fact that it's like, it was something to do and death was so common that it's like, let's make it fun, I guess, or something to make it more enjoyable, like finding a new way to deal with grief, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But so the
Wow.
Ouija board, it was invented by a Baltimore businessman named Charles Kennard. And I guess his whole thing was having just like novelty toys. He had investors, including Elijah Pond, exclusively just to produce this board, which he patented in 1891. The device is named for the word Ouija or Ouija, or, I've heard it pronounced many ways, which Bond's sister in law, a medium named Helen Peters, claimed the board spelled out for itself. The board was marketed as both an oracle and a parlor game and gained significant popularity, though its use by jurors in a murder trial later cast a shadow on its reputation. Crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy, crazy. But very cool. I think this is where I already get a little funky with it, right? Of, okay, if this was invented as a novelty toy to like make a quick buck for this like kind of sleazy businessman, how come it works so well, right? I mean, I'm terrified
Mm.
of this thing. I should have said at the beginning. I've never used a Ouija board. Never. Um,
Mm.
have you guys used a Ouija board?
Um. Yeah, I think I have once, but I
You
have
think you
stories.
have once?
Yeah, because I can't remember if it was my twin sister's memories.
Oh,
Yeah, I sound like really like twin woo woo. But no, I think me and my sister, we talk about like this stuff all the time, and she tells me she has stories, and then when she tells me her stories, I think it's a little twin thing where I kind
yeah.
of could imagine what she'd be like in that situation, and then I'd feel like I was almost there.
Okay.
Um, but I do know I always got so scared whenever, at a sleepover the girls
Right.
would be like, let's do a Ouija board, but in New Zealand we'd call it OJ board because we didn't know how to properly say it.
Oh, that's funny. The OJ board.
OJ, yeah, OJ board. And yeah, we'd like make little paper, There was always one wild chick that had like older brothers, and she just, she had like no fear, and she'd be the one that would always suggest it, and she'd be the one
Right.
that's like, this is how you do it, and you pin down from alphabetical order, and then you have A to Z, and then yes and
You'd
no,
like
and
make
all you
it.
need, yeah, and she's like, and
Wow.
all you need is a
Ooh.
glass. I'm like, I've got one of those. Yeah, and I remember we did it, and I think energy is so powerful. Like
Mm-hmm.
people's energy in a room is so powerful. And I think when I was little, I just felt that energy. We were all hyped up. We were all scared. We were all like fizzing over, like
Yeah.
talking to the dead. Um, we just didn't really know what we were doing as well. And then
Right.
the next day, um, I think it was, I think this is now my sister's memory, but anyway, like the next day we were um, talking to one of our best friends' mums, and she was like, "What did you do?" And we were like, "Oh, we like tried like the OJ board," and she was like, "Never ever do that again."
Oh.
And we were like, "Why?" Like wanting to know so
Yeah.
badly, but like not wanting to know at the same time because like an adult telling you off, but like we did
Right.
nothing wrong, you know, we were just playing a game. She was like, my friend and I did that once when we were your age, and her friend just started to have a seizure
Oh
when
my
she played
God.
the game. Yeah, it got really wild. And yeah, I think it really frightened the mum, and I just think she didn't like that what we were doing was what we were doing under her roof as well, and
Mm-hmm.
just like energy and bad vibes, and
Yeah.
yeah, and then I had like another. I talked to my uncle about it. We had such a fascination for kids doing this game,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to like see the results. You know, just playing like having no idea what we were doing,
Right.
opening something into our life, and it was so innocent, and like kids are so innocent, you know, and I feel like evil
Takes advantage of
things
that.
takes advantage of that exactly. And anyway, I think I was talking to my uncle about it once. I don't know why, and he was like, he also had like bad experience, and I think when you're a little kid and adults tell you their bad experience, you know, like it really you remember it because you're like that's weird
Yes, it
because
sticks
this
with
is
you
like
more.
yeah, like it's a children's game, and like whoa, my uncle's telling me not to play with it because it's dangerous. It's just a board, but
Yeah. And I
mm,
guess like and I want to hear Gintaro's history with the board as well, but those are the kinds of things that just make me think like is this thing having a true effect or is it just some subconscious idiomotor effect that like we're all doing it and we're all freaking each other out because it's fun to do and we're humans and we're dumb? Or is it like, is something really happening here, you know? Like my straight edge mom, when I was young, was like, whatever you do, never use a Ouija board, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's just like one of her weird rules, you know? But
yeah.
anyway, what about you, Kentaro?
Yeah, so I guess like the only like personal experience I have like not I guess like Hannah said, like kind of like yeah, kind of yes. I remember like in middle school, like my one friend would have like a Halloween party every single year, and like there would always be like a group of us that would like hang out in this one room, and there was always a Ouija board out,
Uh
and we would
huh.
like kind of like play around with playing it. We were like, well, you ask a question, right? We were like, all right, so yeah, we'll do it. And there was like candles lit always, and I remember it was like this like it was like one of the branded, like what is it, like Hasbro, like Ouija board,
Yes.
and it was like glow in the dark and purple and like orange, and you know what I mean? It was like a
Yeah.
Halloween like type of board. And we were always like tiptoeing around, like yeah, we're playing Ouija, and we're like no, we're not, like you know, like because that's like so dangerous, but like yeah, we're
Mm,
kind of playing it, and
mm,
someone would be like. All right, here's the question. We're like, oh, didn't work. Guess Ouija's not real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like real quick, like real
Like,
quick,
didn't give it like a
like
chance.
yeah, totally.
Okay.
There's like that, but because there's like that fear like around it. But you know what I mean? There was always like something that we were like, this is like, you know, kind of a decoration, but like we're kind of playing something like that. I
Right.
remember, but I definitely have also like the shared experience of like my mom being like, don't ever play with the Ouija board. Like
mm,
Ouija is like, don't, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
mm,
don't invite like you don't know what you're gonna invite into your life, or like you know what I mean? You don't know what the effect is gonna be. You don't know who you're really talking to. I remember
mm,
that message was
Right.
like always super clear. Like
mm,
Yes.
from my mom definitely sent that message, and like you know one of the reasons like so many people who like love horror hardcore like I do is because like I grew up with it. Like my mom
mm.
introduced horror movies to me like you know really young, probably too young, with me and my brothers like watching it. But in like it's such a common trope like the Ouija board, like right.
Yeah.
'Cause one of the reasons is like because it looks freaking cool. Like the board looks awesome. Like
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's yeah,
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
like and
Timeless.
it's beautiful. Yeah, right. And like you can do so many things with it. But like so like that image of it is like so clear in my mind, and like this being like a dangerous thing to
Mm.
play with,
Yeah.
and like knowing what it means, like when it comes out in that movie, someone's gonna invite something wrong, or someone's gonna get some message that they don't want, like, you know what I
Yes.
mean, or someone's gonna think it doesn't work, and then when they turn around, that planchet's gonna move, like
Fly
something like
into their
that.
Yeah.
neck. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always something like that. And it's interesting that you mentioned like this history. You're like, nope, this was a commercial product. Like someone made
Yeah.
this and it was a game. Like, but like if I think about it, like we don't know, like so like I guess like tarot goes back like probably older, and like
Yes,
we
definitely.
don't know everything about where that comes from, but it appears to be like an aristocratic game, like or
Yeah.
something like
Mm-hmm.
some kind of thing like that, right? But why does it work so well? Like again,
Yeah. No,
is
absolutely.
is like an interesting question. So with that being said, like it makes me like not that I discounted Ouija to begin with, but like really like even hearing like this sort of like commercial pass, I still want to like take it like very seriously because I take
Mm.
tarot seriously in a way that
Sure.
like
Mm.
and like I
Mm.
think it's like very valid on so many levels, and so
Mm.
that I'm interested to dig deeper on that. Why does it work so
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
It's funny, like it's not a far throw from a lucky eight ball.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you're
I mean,
asking the eight ball a question.
I
The only
guess.
difference is you're getting this is like I mean, if we're talking about Hasbro and like toys and stuff,
Right.
like the big difference is you are in a group of people. Ideally, you don't normally do it alone. Um, I don't know anyone that has. Have you
Yeah.
done it alone? Do you know anyone that's done it?
I
Ouija
don't.
boards alone? But you
Well,
normally do it with
actually,
a group
that's
of
not
people.
true. I don't know personally, but I know of practitioners who do it alone. Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Um, but you're in a group of people, so you've got this energy of people, and then you call upon the spirits, which
Yeah.
is kind of like that's the way you get the power.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were just like, let's call upon all of our positive vibes, I wonder if it would work just as well.
To do like a
Um,
positive thing, positive
yeah,
energy.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
Hmm.
nothing. It's not. I mean, this is like I don't know. I'm just like I'm just so like the
But is
the power of the fact that we're like using the spirits to like answer the questions and to contact the spirits rather than like you know I don't know ourselves. I don't know. I just feel like it's really like we're breaking the wall and like letting them in, and I think that's what makes it so
I
real.
feel
That's what
like
makes
that
it
would be
spooky.
like so challenging for me. I feel like it's like our collective knowledge of like what Ouija means like so powerful, and like maybe even like too powerful like for that. Like I feel like even if I'm trying to be like, really positive about this thing, I'm like,
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. It's actually, this positive energy is actually disguising itself because that's what Ouija boards do, and they allow this thing
exactly.
to come. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
that's me like putting that energy out there. And
I,
Right.
you know
I
what? Like,
Yeah,
go
I was
ahead.
told that The Exorcist was the actual movie that made Ouija boards scary.
Mm.
Like
It's
apparently
really
the
effective
movie.
in that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Ouija board is, yeah, in that
Very
yeah,
movie.
effective in that movie.
But the thing about the Ouija board too is like, we're all have this similar story of, never use it. And of course that's common in like in the trope as well. But like if I'm like seriously thinking about it, I feel like maybe if I thought about it longer, I could find another one. But I feel like the Ouija board is like the only like well-known, we'll say like divination, like
Mm-hmm.
paranormal, like tool, whatever you want to call it, that I feel like does not have like a double-edged sword like characteristic or story. Like everything else, people are like, well, the meaning of tarot cards is what you make of it. It's in the eye of like the reader, or
Mm-hmm.
mm,
even like witchcraft or like spells. People are like, it's the energy you put out. It's the law of three. It's like
Right.
whatever it is. But like
mm,
pretty much everyone is like, no, Ouija boards. It's dangerous.
It's like
Like,
mm,
notoriously has a negative
yeah, I've
reputation.
never heard
Yeah.
anyone
mm,
be like, no, that's just what people say. And everyone's like, no. Even if people are like, it's useful, but it's no, it's dangerous.
It's funny. I will
mm,
say I have been hearing more of that, right? Over the last like 10 years, I've been hearing the opposite of there
Mhm.
is a way to use it safely. It is
mm,
has the stigma for being dangerous, and that like especially on one of my favorite ghost podcasts, Ghosted by Roz Hernandez. Listen if you haven't.
Yes.
Um she has a lot of guests that talk about the usage and the reputation of the Ouija board, and
Mm.
they get so frustrated by it because it's like, it's not this dark tool. It's not this horrifying thing. People don't know how to use it responsibly, and then they let in negative things, right? So I think there is certainly a group of people, you know, arguing for its positive, like, viability, but it's just not as well known. And I think this is going to sound really, really woo-woo, right? But my key into why, even if we have the most positive intentions going into to open that door, open that portal, you think of all of the, I'm getting, it's very woo-woo. Okay. So the amount of, like, spirits, entities, I guess is a better word, that are just, like, waiting for a chance to get into our world to do whatever they want to do. This seems to be a very, I don't know, like, easy, palpable access that even if, okay, we're all here, we're calling upon grandma, it doesn't matter, you left the door open. And so nasty, yuck guy is going to squeeze in behind grandma or in front of grandma first. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just always kind of like the vibe I've gotten. And obviously I could be wrong, but it's part of why even now, and the more that I learn, and I still hear people talk about how, like, no, it can be really great, I'm still like, no thanks, I'm good. You know?
Yeah, well, why would you risk it?
Yeah, like, that's my thing too. Like, why would you risk it? I remember... Go ahead.
Well, like, I mean, yeah, like, it was used for entertainment. We've got plenty other options of, like, entertainment.
Yes.
You know
well,
what
and
I mean,
for, like,
well.
communicating with the beyond, like, me personally, I'm very fortunate. I feel like I'm able to do that and get answers and get confirmation in different ways. So, if you're not able to do that, maybe a Ouija board is the right tool for you. It's just not for me, you know? Oh, hey there, listeners. Courtney here with Jaunty Hans. Sorry to interrupt this paid programming, JK, this programming, to recommend some podcasts that you should listen to and that you should check out. These are creators who I have done some interviews with and spoken with, and their shows are awesome. So, first show is the Red Treehouse podcast. This is your official invitation to join Will in the Red Treehouse, where he'll tell you the creepiest, eeriest, and most terrifying tales to keep you up at night. And along the way, you'll be challenged to consider what you believe. Does the paranormal and supernatural really exist, or is it a figment of an overactive imagination? I mean, we know what I think, but episodes release twice each week and can be found wherever you stream podcasts. It's a scary world out there. Let's explore it together in the Red Treehouse. So guys, check out the Red Treehouse podcast. Another one is Arcane Carolinas. Check out Arcane Carolinas for an informed but fun-spirited look at the verifiable history and science behind stories about ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, and plain old weird stuff. Their research methods have turned up enough surprising information about the origins of lore that the Arcane Carolinas books have been preserved in state archival libraries. Arcane Carolinas is available on all major podcast services. Do you question reality? Are you drawn to UFOs, time slips, premonitions, or the mysteries of consciousness? Then you need to check out the Close Encounters Club podcast. Hosted by Justin Gearhart, a skeptic with an open mind, Close Encounter Club features real people sharing their encounters with the unexplainable. He's joined by his producer Josh, chiming in from Australia with his own curious takes. They also bring on scientists and experts who are actually trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So, if you've ever stared at the sky and felt like something was staring back, this one's for you. Search Close Encounter Club wherever you get your podcasts. Tell them Jaunty sent you. Another one to check out is Opening Kill. Opening Kill is the new podcast that covers the terrifying world of horror films. From the latest movie news to an in-depth look at a featured film and a peek at the chilling horror films to come, Opening Kill has you covered. Whether it's gore, suspense, or supernatural thrills, Opening Kill is the ultimate horror deep dive. Hosted by Brian O'Connor and Michael Duran. Listen to Opening Kill on your favorite podcast platform every Thursday. And also Believing in the Bizarre podcast. Also, guys, Hidden in the Shadows podcast, another great one. And just for funsies, just to shout it out there. Maybe they'll hear one day. Maybe I'll meet them. I don't know. My favorite all-time fun, spooky paranormal podcasts are, of course, Spooked by Snap Judgment, A Funny Feeling podcast with Betsy and Marcy, and Ghosted by Roz Hernandez. So just some fun recommendations for you guys. I love to boost and promote other podcasts that I resonate with. If you want a shout out, please reach out. I'd love to spread the word. Anyway, back to the show.
Then again, like, here I am, like a history teacher guy again.
Yes.
I'm like, so many of the stories that, like, not that this, matters, but I guess to just contextualize it, are from like the 70s, I feel like, 70s,
Yeah.
80s. And so then I'm thinking, like, even the 60s, something like Satanic Panic. So, like,
Yes,
you know what I mean?
that's
Like, a
true.
lot of people are, like, growing up with these stories that are, like, conditioned by this time period
Yeah.
of, like, which also, like, made that stuff really popular, too. So, like, a lot of people who were kids and teens in the 60s, 70s, 80s are like growing up having these experiences, reading these things that are about the cults and all these like weird things going on and stuff. And so maybe these days I don't know, maybe there will be some kind of AI divination, something that'll get popular in our generation. Will have their stories. I hope I didn't just create that model by mentioning it
Chat
in
Ouija PT.
the world. Yeah.
Oh my God. See, it's funny because, like, our parents grew up with that scare from their parents or their big brothers and sisters, and it got passed down to us probably, and that's probably, whatever. But I had my family was anti-tarot.
Mine was too. Mine really was, yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, now I'm just seeing it. I mean, Gentaro, you gave me a deck for my birthday, and it's just like, it's becoming more normalized because more people are using it for good and using it for themselves and, self-help and figuring out their journey in life. And I think, like, I wonder if we'll end up being like, you should just, like, whip out the OJ board, Ouija board. OJ.
I don't know,
Ouija
though.
board. And, like, but I don't know, like, it's really sticking. The dark history is really staying put. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, eh?
Yeah. Well, and can I tell you, I mean, there have been times where I've been at, like, friends of friends' houses, right? Like, Jordan had friends in comedy in LA, and we'd go over to their house for a game night or for a New Year's party. It was a New Year's party specifically is what I'm remembering. And we went down to the basement where they had, like, a bunch of games set up. It was so fun. But I just kept like feeling this like tingling and yucky behind me. And I was like, okay, is their house haunted? And I turned around and I looked, boom, there's the game, like the Ouija board is in the box on the shelf. And I'm like, wow, I could like feel it before I even came down here, and I wasn't even talking about it with anybody. So I think like anything, there's sort of inanimate objects that can get spiritual energy on them, I think. Anyway, I don't know. All right, let me
That's like me with.
Go ahead.
That's like me with China dolls.
Oh,
China
yeah.
dolls. Oh my God! Like
the porcelain dolls.
they're so scary. And like like I feel like, I don't know, maybe the pop culture of like China dolls being possessed and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Who's, on an absolute side note, who's that famous guy that bought Annabelle?
Oh,
he's a comedian that bought.
Not is it
Zach Baggins?
No.
Zach Baggins bought it, right?
No, I think Matt Rife. Is that his name?
Matt Rife? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
But didn't the guy die like transporting the doll?
Yes. So then Matt Rife just bought it. Yeah.
Wow.
So we can only
Wait,
hope.
was the guy transporting it for Matt? I'm trying.
No, he was transporting it because Annabelle's been going on tour and like causing bad bitch havoc, wreaking havoc wherever she goes. And we're like, go to DC. What are we doing?
Yeah, come on, like.
Okay, I want to jump into the year 1913 though. This is about Pearl Curran and Patience Worth, these two ladies' names. Curran claimed to channel the spirit of a 17th century woman who dictated novels and poetry through a Ouija board. It was St. Louis. Anyway, Pearl Curran was a housewife, and she just began channeling a 17th century English spirit named Patience Worth through a Ouija board and just started producing all of this ark written in archaic English. The spirit Patience Worth claimed to be an unmarried woman from the late 1600s who had come to fulfill her literary ambitions through Curran. The phenomenon became a sensation, with Curran dictating works like The Sorry Tale. While some saw it as genuine spiritual communication, others believed it was a hoax or the result of Curran's own subconscious or creative abilities. What do we think? Like, is this a possibility, or is this like genius marketing? Like,
I'm a skeptic. I want to believe Courtney, but I think she had it in her the whole time.
oh,
And she just
she needed a reason.
yeah, and maybe I don't know, maybe she took too much midazolam. Like, were they on
Laud
Midaz,
them.
those housewives? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was just
Oh my God.
you know what? I'm just gonna like let it all out.
When it
I
comes
want
to
to believe.
like, no, it's just with like, women being kept out of literary circles, and then she has this genius thing that like makes me just think like I don't know, maybe like this is like what people needed to accept her literary genius or
Right?
something.
Yeah.
Nicely said.
But
Yeah.
it is fun, and why I'm like, ooh, so this person like sustained this relationship like with her to like dictate. And I'm also thinking like, did she get the books like letter by letter? Like, is that how
I
it worked?
know. I wonder, yeah.
Or did it just like was she just like channeling them through? So it's like a lot of questions, a lot of steps, and so I don't really know. I'm just not the date of 1913. I'm like, was this
Mm.
like in one of like the big papers? Like it just, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. I just
Mm.
I'm not buying it, but
I want to know more of a medical history. Like,
sure.
like,
She had hysteria, probably, right?
well, yeah, of
Women.
course she did. She's a woman.
I mean,
right.
She
women.
has
Oh.
yeah, exactly.
No, that'd be fun to look up. What is the full medical chart, if any, in 1913 for this woman?
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. I mean, honestly, we'll never know, right? But I think I'm with you guys. I think I'm like, hey, it was a weird time, and I think it's a brilliant marketing technique.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, I'm gonna get into some more of the scary stuff, if you guys don't mind.
Oh gosh, no.
So this is
Let's do it.
reported experiences and theories. The Exorcist case, 1949, inspired by a real-life possession case of a boy who allegedly became possessed after using a Ouija board. The Zozo phenomenon. Countless reports exist of a malevolent entity named Zozo appearing during Ouija sessions, often leading to frightening experiences. I'm also going to read what I found is some of the scariest or worst cases of someone experiencing after using a Ouija board.
I should be holding crystals right now or something. Okay.
It's okay.
It's
Just don't. This is just, this is information. This is not
okay.
affecting you. You don't,
Okay.
it's right out the window. Scariest cases involving Ouija boards often feature reported supernatural phenomena, like objects moving on their own, disembodied voices, shadow figures. Some stories involving physical violence or demonic possession. Notable frightening incidents include a teenager who stabbed a friend after being influenced by the board, a family that experienced objects being thrown, and a dog with an old man's face leading to an exorcism. A group of people camping where a user convulsed and had black and white hallucinations. All kind of demonic influences and physical attacks. Sorry, I'm reading through here. Physical phenomena, objects rolling across the floor, such as tins, marbles, pots of paint falling over, hearing disembodied voices or sudden loud noises, finding black shadows or experiencing their belongings have been destroyed. Psychological impacts, again, of hearing voices, experiencing low self-esteem, paranoia, feelings of being gaslit. And then cursed objects. One user found their knife went clean through a wooden table, damaging the table, but leaving the knife pristine after they tried to destroy the Ouija board. Ouija board being associated with a family's problem. Again, things being destroyed, toys turning on with no batteries inside, just typical hauntings, right, guys? And then multiple occurrences of people, just like in the movies, trying to throw them away and finding it again, like in the trash. And just like any paranormal story, these are stories, right? I don't think they're not true, but I also don't know if they're true. You know, we weren't living in their lives and experiencing them firsthand, but I don't know. I've experienced physical hauntings where objects in my home move around me and things happen. So I don't see why these things couldn't have happened. But like we were saying earlier, I think these are what the Ouija board is most commonly known for, of creating and the consequences being these very dark and negative things happening. And I think it's interesting hearing both of your stories and experiences, even if it's just a dabble here and there as childhood or through adolescence. You both didn't experience anything firsthand to the point of, you know, something truly horrible. It's more the adults around you that influenced your viewpoint on it, right? So I don't know. I guess I'm not getting to the point of this, but as these stories and these experiences, and even what a quick Google and some research can show, is that what's perpetuated is the violent and scary nature of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, how much of this is subconscious muscle movements and us as humans freaking ourselves out? But what do you guys think about these dark things? What do you guys think about that?
I guess I'm inclined. I mean, for me, so much of like, I guess my belief in like supernatural or paranormal things or whatnot is like, well, I guess yeah, because like I want to, but
Sure.
because I just feel like so many I like experiences like are I guess because the volume of them, there's just like so many experiences
There's
and like
so
of
many.
yes, and of people who have like, just like, whatever I've decided is like the criteria to believe someone or not or whatnot. But like there's just so many like common themes and like imagery and like there's just so many stories that I do believe that there is something to it and like to like
Absolutely.
these experiences that it's having, whether that is like truly like channeling something intentionally or not, or like the people around the energy, there is like something to it. And like I guess like I'm a big believer in like the power of like the imagery, and like I said, I'm super drawn to the way like the Ouija board looks, right? So maybe there's like something with that, that's like really connecting with people's like subconscious or something. But I just do believe that there's something to it. There's like so many believable experiences, and like and I guess it's just like that's what it is for me, like just like wealth of the different stories that I've read about it.
Yeah. Even down to the terms of physical and psychological damage, there's meaning and truth in that for you because of how common it is.
Yeah, and what's super scary for me, and it's come up a few times, that you both have mentioned. For some reason, like the homemade Ouija board, or like the board that someone like throws together, and like someone just like
Right.
drew, and like like my friend just drew this board, and it's like let's do it. That is super creepy
Yeah,
to me.
I
Like
agree.
something about it, like just like draws up like all of those like really scary, like we shouldn't be doing this feelings, or
Yeah.
like I these like you're messing like I don't know what experiences you guys have from childhood, but like when you're messing with this like magic or like witchcraft thing, and like
Yes.
the adults told you about it, like brings up all of that. Should I be doing this, like this homemade, like like all of the stories where I read or what I've seen or like hauntings like that, whenever there's that element, I'm like, oh gosh, like the imagery of this thing is like so powerful that it doesn't matter if it's like a produced thing or like, but like the fact that like if you create this set of words and these letters and these boards, they will, you can channel like this power. Like that's so creepy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Hannah? What do you think?
Yeah. Voice like
Oh, so you keep
noises.
looking like paranoid. Don't be scared. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm just like, you know,
We're
just
just telling
talking about it,
spooky
the energy
stories.
of it. I know, you're right. Okay.
Just do some breathing.
Um,
Welcome in your ancestors. Welcome your angels. I'm serious. Just
oh,
combat it.
no, I'm fine. I find, do you remember the Skeleton Key, the movie with Kate Hudson?
Yes,
Yes.
great movie.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So stay with me. But you know when she like finds the hoodoo book and she like starts to just have fun reading it, and then she like
Hmm.
Hmm.
finally protects herself from the old lady and like pours the red sand or tries to do something to like protect herself. And like as soon as anyone thinks that they're doing the right thing by just like anyone has the access to it is what you kind of you're saying, Gintaro. Like anyone can make a Ouija board. That's what's so
Hmm.
scary about it. Like
Hmm.
anyone can like be Kate Hudson and think she's like, I'll just like give it a go. It might not work, but it might not, but it might. And it's just, I don't know, it's just like letting spirits enter without actually knowing the consequences. To me, that's like really spooky. It's like you got to make sure you know what you're talking about. But then at the same time, when you do the research, you get really deep into the research,
Right.
and now you're like fucked because you know too much. And it's almost like I just rather wouldn't want to even
Yeah.
like know about it. Ignorance is bliss. But I also want to protect myself, so I needed to read a little bit. But then you go down the rabbit hole of like reading it all, and it's like a fine line. Those stories, like for me, I'm just so fascinated with them. I'm so like in a weird
Hmm.
weird way, I find them fascinating, and I want to know more, and I want to know all the details. Because
And their
yeah, I
mental
think
health
there's
charts.
yeah, I want to know the medical history. Yes, I do. Because I am a skeptic. I don't because I just fall for like, well, they could have been delirious. There was, little kids. Little kids are they've got such an imagination, and like, you tell like a little 4-year old like, why are you waving? Or like a 3-year old, and they're like, they've got the attention from their mum or dad now, and
Hmm.
then the kid's like, oh, I see a lady. And it's like they're actually seeing their mum, but instead of seeing their mum, they're just using their imagination. And like, oh, well, the mum's like, well, what does the mum look like? She's wearing a red, you know what I mean? And like little kids just kind of
Uh-huh.
like start like using their imaginations. I don't know. I just end up falling for like, I just want a reason. I don't want a reason. I want it to be spooky, but I fall back into no, there's a reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
Everything has a reason. But like Gitaro said, there's so many unexplained events. How can, and the world is so big and we can't just accept it for what it is. It's not necessarily black and white. And why would you want to believe that it's just this, not this? Like, I want to
Right.
believe that there is a realm out there. I do. It would be very depressing if there wasn't. But
It's one of those
it's,
things
yeah.
where it's almost like, with concepts, it's easier to just be like, I don't know, ooh la la. But when you have like a physical product that's sold in children's toy stores, it feels
Hmm.
like we should have some more black and white concrete answers. I think that's where
Yeah.
we get frustrated, or I get frustrated, because it's like, how is this so scary? How does this leave so many people? But yeah, how does it leave so many people with these like scarred traumatic experiences? But yeah, at the end of the day, I think you're right, and I think no matter what, it feels like we all have these, pocket portals. We all have access to make, create, or purchase something that could potentially lead to some negative spiritual consequences, which, like, I'm not looking to mess with at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just the this idea of like recreating it, like we have the power to like create it also, but we also have like the immense amount of options to like buy it on a t-shirt or like
Yes.
where it's on a blanket, and
On a
it's like I've seen it
hat,
on
on a
so
magnet.
many cute things. Yes, I'm thinking you can get like a little
Capitalism.
bear like with it on there too, but I'm like, does that like I'm like, is that just cute? Or is like that opening yourself up to it? I don't know,
Yes.
because when I see people with like a tarot card shirt, I'm like, oh, that's like the energy that they're like channeling and they're walking around. Or I'll have like
Uh-huh.
some things on my wall with like a certain card. I'm like, that is like the energy I like want in this area. I've
Yes.
decided that, and I'm like, is a Ouija board just mean like I'm open? Like just it's
Right.
just
Mm,
like I don't
Yes,
know. And
great
I see that
point.
I do think about that
mm,
sometimes when I wear them. I'm like, what is that? it means that people think it's cute. But
Mm,
what does that open you
What does
up
that
to?
open
I
you up
really do think
to?
about
mm,
that.
Great
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
Ooh, have I
yeah.
told you guys about the one time I almost did a Ouija board?
No.
No.
Okay, it's my spooky story. So, I was in high school. I was a freshman. I was 14, and at the time, I was hanging out with a couple of friends my age, and then a couple of friends who were older, like 4 years older, who were kind of like mentors in the theater department, and we were very close. But he had some friends around his age, and we were like, it's Halloween night. He had keys to the theater at our high school. We were all going to go in the haunted theater and use the Ouija board. And I knew what my mom had said. I had really been going back and forth of like, I don't know, I don't wanna, I don't know. And then all my friends were like, you can see ghosts, you can connect with this stuff. Like, we gotta do it with you because like something will happen for sure. Like, we
Mm,
wanna do it. It's Halloween. And I was like,
mm.
okay, I guess. Like, I was so scared. And we got there, the board was there. They started to set everything up. And then I remember this one girl came in. Her I don't remember her name. I just remember her costume was like a teenage Ninja Turtle. Like that's what like she was like a cute teenage mutant Ninja Turtle. And my oldest friend was like, ugh, like he was mad that she was there. And like they kind of were whispering and talking, and I just heard her say like, "No, I'm not leaving. Like no." And he came over to me and he said, "So we're not going to do the Ouija board now." And I was like, why? And he's like,
Mm.
that girl, she wasn't invited, but she came anyway. Her boyfriend, who was super abusive, took his own life like 3 days ago. And so we just know if we do the
Oh,
Ouija board tonight, he will come through and hurt one of us. And I was like, oh my God. Like, oh, yeah, can I just go
I guess
home?
you guys are right.
Like, on one
what?
hand, I was very like happy that they were honest about that, and like they were 4 years older, so they made like the safety call of like, okay, we're not
Mhm.
actually gonna go through with this, because I feel like any other teenagers would have been like, oh fuck yeah, the girl
Fuck
with the
yeah.
dead guy is here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
that was the only time I ever got close, and I agreed to it, even though I didn't want to. I was peer pressured, and thank God it didn't happen anyway. So
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
my
it was meant
gosh.
to be that you didn't do it.
You should have just gone trick or treating instead.
I know. I
Yeah.
We did every year after that. I was like,
What,
I'm
Yeah.
never doing that again.
Courtney, what did you dress up as? What was your
That year,
costume?
what was I that year? Oh, actually, I do remember because I made my costume homemade. Oh my God, I have to see if I can find it for the listeners. This sounds so stupid now. It's so artsy. I had this old, like, white ballet outfit that was, like, fluffy and, like, cute. And I was fire and ice. So I painted one side
Oh.
blue and icy with, like, ice crystals and sequins and, like, foam, and I dried it. And then the other side I did fire. So it was, like, all red and orange and like chiffon and like fluffy. And then I did like stage makeup, half like crystal white glitter with blue and the other half like red and like fiery in my
Ooh.
Oh my
eyebrows. And
God.
yeah, I like went
That is
all
awesome.
out. I went to Michael's. I got branches, and I like stuck them in my hair. Like I don't even, and like literally to go and sit in a theater with my friends and do a Ouija
Right.
board. I was like, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The commitment. I
yeah.
love that.
I was fire nice.
Love that.
um all right, I've got like three more questions and then we can start wrapping up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I should say more questions. The rest has really been talking points. So these are my questions here. We kind of touched on a couple of these, but we'll see if we have any last thoughts. So the first one is, why do so many cultures have spiritual communication tools?
I mean, I guess it just I think it like comes back to what we were talking about with like the Victorians. I just think
Mm-hmm.
like the unexplainable and like probably on hard for us to even like interpret is like just commonality of death like
Right.
in human history. I just feel like the young, the people like not even like living to be old. I feel like that if like all around you, I can't even imagine what that does to the psyche.
Right.
Um, and I feel like that probably somewhat comes down to it because we're even like so mystified by it because of the relative lack of commonality of death. I mean, everyone has a different, experience with death and in relationship with that in their life. Not claiming, but just generally speaking, there's
Yeah.
just less death in our society. When it does happen,
Mm.
it's more covered up. And so like I feel like that even stokes like some of like our fascination with it as well. And so I don't know, I feel like we're hardwired to be obsessed with it. Why not? It's super mysterious, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
so I don't know, I feel like it comes
Mm.
down to that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very well said.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Kintaro. I mean, I don't know much about many cultures apart from my culture, which I don't even know what my culture is, if I'm to be
OJ
honest. But
board.
like OJ board, I feel like yeah, it's just like birth and how we celebrate life. I feel as though a lot of cultures celebrate death, and a way to celebrate it is trying to remember that they're still around. I think
Yeah.
it's so it gives people hope as well in like
Mm-hmm.
a kind of morbid way that like life after there is life after death, and we can have proof because of the OJ board.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely
But
agree with
there's
you guys.
yeah.
No, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I wish I had like more cultural like examples of Maori culture. I know they really they have a strong belief of spirituality, and
Mm,
yeah, I just don't though. So that's where my story ends.
that's
But I wish
okay.
I knew more.
No, it's all
I'm gonna
right.
look that
I
up.
think I think it really does all come back to the desperate need to just like know, learn, and communicate with those that we've lost, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm trying to like challenge my thinking. I think like that is like the very on the other side of what I'm saying is like also because they work so well for us. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Like as humans,
love.
like, and so I don't know if that's like, oh, across culture we have these people with these personalities that know how to like speak to like, that part in our psyche, or maybe it's just because like, that is something about humans and connecting with whatever, whether that is like some power outside of us or whether that's some like collective energy or whether, people are just like legitimately it's just connecting with the dead and we just don't fully understand it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It works well. Like if they're humans, like we get like a lot of
Sure.
messages, people understand it. I mean, things you've talked about on the pod, like even
Yeah.
from like literal specific like crimes and real world things that have been people have the channeled,
Uh-huh.
and help solve like real practical life things,
Right.
all the way
Mm.
to all of the mystical spiritual things that connecting like helps us with. But that's the other side of it too, I guess.
I love that. Yeah.
Mm.
Taking like a non-skeptical stance, just like, hey, for some reason it works. It's been happening for over 100 years and people continue to do
Yeah,
it. So like on
yeah,
some
Mm.
level, it's self-serving, it's satisfying, and we keep doing it because it works, right? And
yeah,
for whatever reason, in whatever way, it works for what we're looking for. Love
yeah.
that.
Mm.
All right, two more. One is hypothetical, and then no, I'll ask this one first. Okay, and take your time with this. What is the scariest word you can imagine a Ouija board would spell out? Like what for you? And take a few seconds if you need. Like would be like if it was one word that was like spelled out with the planchette that would like
Mm.
be like I'm out. I'm out. What would that word be?
You said it before, and it really scared me.
What?
Because I kind of like did a tiny little micro deep dive into it, but the word Zozo really freaked me
Oh
out.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like only because I wouldn't have if it was spelled out and if it was say like depending on who I was with in the group, and if I knew nobody knew Zozo, because I don't. I mean, you might have to remind me, Courtney, what it means, but I think it's like an evil spirit of some kind.
It's a demon. Yeah, it's the name of a
It's a
demon.
demon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gives me an icky feeling, um, and I couldn't even blame myself for like
Mm-hmm.
spelling that word out because I've heard it, but it's not like in my brain right now. But I've heard of it in the past, like, and it would be like, oh, like classic demons, like coming into like my brain way at the back to like bring it up.
Right.
Um, yeah, and I've heard, I don't know much about that demon, but it gives me the woolies, and
Yeah.
I just don't want any dark negative energy um, in my life. And yeah, that would be the scariest thing I think.
Yeah,
The
for
demon
sure.
name. Yeah,
Commonly known scary thing. Yeah.
yeah.
See, I feel like if like I'm being most honest,
Yeah.
like probably just like the name of someone in my life that has like passed, right?
Ooh.
But like
Yeah.
in like, but also I think that's the reason why it's so common like to I guess like con people with
Mm,
stuff like this because
Sure.
like for so
Right.
many of us that would be the most scary thing and like these
mm,
days you can just Google who like most of those people would be, right?
yeah.
And
It's
then
like
and then
John
push me
Smith.
along. I'm like, oh my like you got
Um,
me. And like I think for most
yeah.
people that would probably be like one of the most scary things. And I think that is one of the reasons why like, spiritualism and so many things have been so, associated with like you gotta watch out that someone doesn't get you since like time immemorial, right?
Right.
Um
Yeah.
and because of those because of like that close connection. But I do
Yeah.
think like that's what it would be. I'm like, how do they know? Like, oh my
Right.
God, like this name.
Validity.
Mm,
Especially like I feel like have like some not common names like in your
Yes.
family and
Oh
whatnot. Like you
yeah.
know what I mean? And so like
100%.
that
that would like really get me, but also make me think that they really did like read into me in my past.
yeah,
But
or
yeah.
that you on a subconscious level like
Yeah.
might be moving it because you want to see if it works. You know what I mean? And like your brain decides to
And
spell it out.
I feel like what is like that deep fear of like if I get to like like why am I like have like some kind of fear of like Ouija boards? It's like yes because of the
Mm.
messages that our parents told us, but like what's the worst thing that could happen? Where it's like that's not really your grandma, that's a demon that you've been talking to. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I guess
Yeah,
it's like probably like
yeah.
the worst thing that I think could
Yeah.
like happen with like a
That
Ouija
would
board, and
suck.
so like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it comes from that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
What would be yours, Courtney?
Honestly, I feel like I have like three coming to mind. I think the scariest one would be, I don't know why, but smile.
Mhm.
Oh, fuck, that's
I think
spooky as
that would be
hell.
really scary, like if it's spelled out smile.
Ew.
Also, just like run, like run would be really scary.
Yeah, these are
Or
good answers.
uh, I'm scared. Or return. I think return would be scary too. Like what? Anything
Yeah,
that makes you kind of go like what?
yeah.
Something that
Return.
feels
Yeah,
not obvious but puts you in your head.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think those would
Oh,
be.
yeah, like beside you, behind you.
I was
That
gonna
would also be
say, yeah.
scary if
Oh
that was
yeah,
like being spelled out.
yeah,
In
absolutely.
you. Yeah, all those like real like too close for comfort
Yeah.
adjectives. Mm.
Okay. This is a call out to listeners, right? Or anyone you know. I want your boringest Ouija board stories. The times where you wanted to be the most scared, comment below, send in a message, send in a DM. I want to know about the most unsuccessful, boring, so we can start counteracting some of the
Yeah.
fear within the community, or like really happy ones maybe that you were like, oh my god, that was so great. Like, send it in. Okay, my last question is: would you, under any set of circumstances, do it again, like properly? Like, would you do a Ouija board?
I would do it if my husband Chris was like, Hannah, this means so much to me.
Oh,
I'd do it.
okay.
But like you'd have to like for Chris to do it, the world has to be upside down.
Upside
I don't
down.
know. Like you know what yeah, like I
Yeah.
just there would be a reason for him to want me to do it. And I think it's out of desperation. And I would be like, of course, my love, I would do anything for you. So
Okay.
it's probably that.
Yeah.
I just feel like yes. I just feel like I would. I
Okay.
don't know.
Look at how much
Like I
shit
just
talking we've been doing, and you're both
I know,
saying
right?
yes.
Yeah.
I
I do
just
it
feel
for love.
like at this point in my life, I'm with the right people. Like if I was with like you guys, and it was like we were doing it for like not a particular reason, but we were all in like the right mind. So like we just want to see if like something will happen, like
Sure.
something like that. We had like a cool board that didn't, there was no crazy like story. Behind it. I don't know. I just feel like you could find me in the right set of circumstances to try
To
it.
try it again.
Yeah, I just feel like in this like point in my life, like I would be willing to like probably try it. Not saying that I'm like seeking out these opportunities, but probably. Is everything
This is
okay,
scary.
Hannah?
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Maybe
Oh my
we could
god.
make our own board that I would consider doing, but it's like a cunty board, and it's like, hell
Ooh.
yes, no bitch, oh my god, yeah,
Yes.
and like there's no letters. It's just like 5 phrases that we could offer the spirit world of just like, get the fuck out of here. Hell yes. No,
Absolutely.
bitch. I love that for you.
Yeah.
A cunty Ouija board.
I love that. Yes. Yes. Yes, Queen.
Yes,
Yes, God.
queen.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That would be
Yeah.
so funny.
I feel like I never say never, right? I try to never say never, but this still feels very deeply inside of me like, probably not. But, you know, the more you learn, the more you know, the more you grow. So who knows? There could be a world in which I would one day, but not anytime soon, and certainly not in New York.
Hey.
Forgot I have a listener story. Can I of a Ouija board?
Ooh.
Can I read it for you guys?
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
Okay,
please.
great. Yeah, I was gonna do it alone, but I feel like it's more fun if we can all react to
Get
it,
along.
right?
Absolutely.
It's Pixie. Pixie's already sent in another story, which was at the beginning of season 2. Thank you, Pixie. Okay, so she says, for the Ouija board episode, there was one time when I was in college at a very haunted school, and my friends and I decided to mess with one in the basement of our dorms because there were little lounges that we could hang out in. We, of course, decided to do it late at night with minimal lights on. I can't remember exactly what happened, but we didn't follow the rule of the planchette, and the board stay separate after that. However, we did close the circle properly. Well, one of them attached itself to me and came back into my dorm apartment. The apartments were set up so you shared them with 8 other girls, and one of the girls kept having her posters thrown off the wall. And it wasn't just from the heat, because they would end up on the opposite side of her huge room instead of just crumbling at the bottom of the floor. Whatever it was, it followed me to my classes and nearly made me pass out during my science course. It felt like my energy was literally being sucked out of me in seconds. It went from being perfectly fine and alert to me sitting on the floor lightheaded, unable to see straight forward, and having to be assisted back to my dorm room, where I promptly fell asleep at 5 p.m. and did not wake up until the next day. I also remember right around that, walking out of the bathroom in my dorm apartment and it being pitch black because everyone else was asleep or gone, and I looked out the window of the room and saw a person standing right next to me in the doorway. But when I looked next to me, obviously there was no one there. We ended up having to get the school pastor lady to come out and do a proper cleansing on the entire dorm room because of how bad it got. It cleared up after she cleansed our apartment. However, that deterred me from using Ouija boards for a very long time since then. I'm okay with them now because I'm very strict about following the rules, but at the time I was 17 and I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
Pixie.
Pixie,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had like a school pastor lady, at least, right? To
Yeah.
come and like cleanse the room, because that, especially if you were 17, that's
I
young.
Yeah.
know.
It's so convenient to have someone like
Ugh,
that
something
just to
about being
like
on
clear it up.
campus, like,
I
is so scary
know.
too.
A
Like,
haunted
you're kind
dorm
of alone.
sucks. As we
Yes.
know from
Yes.
Hometown Heroes episode,
Exactly.
season 1, Jordan had the little
That's
ghost boy in his dorm, and it's not
that's
fun.
right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's spooky.
Ouija board energy draining ghosts, that sounds really yucky. It's also not the
Yeah.
first account of like even some of the ones I read to you guys of like feeling faint, feeling physically drained, feeling like you're gonna physically pass out, or like feeling lightheaded, which is very weird to me.
Yeah.
And just it was interesting that this like figure, like that was so like clearly like not only just like these things happening, but like a figure following her. It seems so powerful. Gosh.
Mm,
Yeah.
Oh, dredged up from like
mm,
inexperienced people on the Ouija board.
I know.
Scary.
That's another rule I didn't know,
mm.
is to keep the planchette and the board separate after using.
Mm.
That was, I hadn't heard that. That's what she mentioned. Yeah, like
Mm.
they closed
Yeah.
out properly, but they didn't keep the items separated.
Mm. I think
Mm.
the posters are scary, like that that physical evidence that like, well, it couldn't have been the heat because the poster ended up over there, you
Across the
know.
entire room. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think my
that's a good
nursing brain,
point.
I'm like, oh, well, maybe she didn't drink enough water and people feel faint for all sorts of reasons, you
Sure.
know, poor electrolytes, but like the
The
poster, it's
poster.
I
like,
would love to
ooh.
hear what the pastor lady, like what that conversation was like,
Yeah.
I guess. So like, was she like
Yeah.
accepting of it? Of like, what kind of pastor lady is she? Like, is
She
that
was
just like the term
probably
for like
like
a spiritual
pissed.
person? Yeah, I
She was
know.
probably like, you fucking kids, like
Yeah,
ringing
like
her bells with her incense, like, God
not
damn, these
again. Yeah.
17-year-olds.
I
That's what I'm saying.
picture the principal from Jury Girls.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like they're all like, I might not go back in. Just like I don't want to.
Oh my god.
It's like a real sassy pants,
Oh
but
my gosh.
yeah,
Well,
how
thank you for
convenient that she had
listening,
it.
guys. Yeah, and
Of
thank you for
course.
sharing, Pixie. Keep them coming. Send in your stories, you guys. Sorry, that reminded me of one more thing. You guys know Coraline, the movie, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Love Coraline.
love it.
That's also a thing that's used very commonly for Ouija boards, is like the seeing stone that she finds, and then she can see where
Oh.
the little balls are. That's very popular in witchcraft, and I feel bad I can't remember the actual name of it in lore. It's like a seeing stone, a seeing something, but they say you can see spirits through it, and it's very commonly used in Ouija boards to help open the portal. And that's like what you use as the planchette. If you find a rock with a hole in it, it's like supposed to be super magical. So anyway,
Interesting.
be careful with those too. Thank you so much, you guys. All right, that's most of my questions and kind of topics. I know we're just so barely scraping the surface of this like fun, deep game tradition history. I'm sure we're gonna touch on it a bunch more in the future, but this was such a fun introduction to it. Do you guys want to add anything before we start like wrapping up?
I don't know. I just hear like it's really important to make sure that you say goodbye and close your communication
Yes, great
at the
point.
end of a Ouija session. So if anyone out there is delving in or whatnot, you can either, write in and verify that information, or this is just your friendly neighborhood reminder to close out your
Close it
session,
out.
say goodbye. That's
Yes,
all. Yeah. So just a reminder
So
for you.
good, you can tell.
perfect.
No, I have nothing. I have
No,
nothing to
you're
say. But we would like, is there? I don't know. I just like how pretty it is. I'm so glad you mentioned it as well, Gentaro, because it is very pretty, the Ouija board. But it's also very ASMR-y. Like, I think it's like a little
Yes.
dance, and I'm almost hypnotized by when I see it on TV or on film. It's such a pretty way
Mm-hmm.
of communicating with a group of people. And I think there's something very alluring to that. And it's like, I want to join.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like a little game of like ring a Rosie. Like, I turn into like this, like, oh, I don't want to miss out on all the
Hmm.
fun. And I'm sure that's got like,
The
and there's
FOMO.
like that creepy, like, I don't know, maybe that's the way in which to like,
Feels delicious a
and
little
like it
bit.
scratches an itch,
Yeah.
and it just like, and I think that's a funny but spooky like trait that it has.
Yeah, it's like everyone around in a
Mm.
circle. There's like a really beautiful cinematic shot you can get of like in Charmed. I think it's in the theme. Like they're all looking
Yes.
Uh-huh.
up from the
Oh yeah,
board.
like
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like the
Wait, we
candles are
have to
like
take a
beautiful.
photo tomorrow night that I can edit. That's the cover of this, where
Yes,
we're all
yes,
like
yes.
looking up in a
Yeah,
triangle.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so
totally.
pretty. Yeah, I bet you the boards smell
Absolutely.
yummy and like
Yeah,
delicious. So,
yeah.
well, the old school ones, not the ones from Hasbro's. So I think that's very alluring and like part of the evil cunningness. Yeah, yeah.
Enticingness of it. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Cool.
We're so over time. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. I love you. Thanks for coming on the pod. I'm sorry it took so long to get you on season 2, and you're welcome back anytime.
Yay. Thanks,
Love you
Courtney.
both. This was super fun. Can't wait for more spooky fun this season.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you are not alone if you've ever heard a bump in the night or caught something out of the corner of your eye. There are countless others who experience things they can't explain. And this podcast is your safe place to listen and share. Also, I want to remind everyone that this show is for entertainment purposes. I am not a professional paranormal investigator. I did not go to school to study this. I can only speak about my first-hand experiences. And with that, I'd love to mark the importance of spiritual inclusion. Your thoughts, ideas, and theories about the other side are welcome.
And we know that so much of our common knowledge and perception about the paranormal stems from historical and cultural experiences. So we are open to your knowledge and understanding of things that we may be ignorant about or not fully understand. Let's learn and grow together. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next time. Hey ghoul friends, got a spooky story to share? Well, I want to hear about your haunts. Whether you've seen a ghost or something unexplainable, send your supernatural experiences to us at jauntyhaunts@gmail.com. That's JAUNTYHAUNTS@gmail.com. Or DM us on Instagram at jauntyhauntspod. That's jauntyhauntspod. You can also find us on TikTok and YouTube under Jaunty Haunts Podcast. I want to hear from you.